This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Underwear drawers are like the Wild West. You never know what you're going to pull out or what shape it's in. So upgrade your collection with the buttery soft comfort of MeUndies. MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. Plus, it's breathable and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear. Get 20% off your first order, plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/Spotify with code SPOTIFY. That's MeUndies.com/Spotify, code SPOTIFY.
Welcome to the White Lotus in Thailand, Cut.
It's a wellness center.
You should get a facial. The lady in the airport thought you were my dad.
Oh my God.
The Emmy Award-winning HBO original series returns.
There has been more crime on the island. I'm a little freaked out.
What happens in Thailand stays in Thailand.
Oh, what does that mean?
It means we're not dead yet.
Amen.
Amen.
A new season of the HBO original series The White Lotus premieres February 16th at 9 p.m. on Max.
I think you're on mute.
Workday starting to sound the same?
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
Hi. Welcome to But Am I Wrong? A podcast where we two people who have not once ever been wrong talk about times we may have been wrong. We talk about the things in your life that you might be wrong about. And, basically all it is 3 different segments on this show. Gossip, trash talking, shit talking. It's a good time. It's very fun. And we will explain each one of those segments before we get into it. But what you need to know is we want you to participate, not just by submitting things for us to talk about in your life that you want to know if you're in the wrong about, but also topics for us to nominations for some of them, but then also voting. We want you to vote on who you think was wrong in each segment. We post stories over on Instagram. We add them to a highlight. So even if you miss like the 24-hour window of voting, we want you to vote, obviously. But even if you miss that, you can still go through and respond to those results there and tell us why you voted the way you did, what you thought, your feelings. And then we read the results as well as your messages. And sometimes they include updates or more context or funny stories from other people that are similar. We do all of that on our See You Next Tuesday episode. So it's a grand old time.
Yeah.
Our first segment is But Am I Wrong? Where we, each of us individually, pitch either a thing that is going on in our life that we want to know if we're in the wrong about, or it can be a hot take, a rant, something we just want to discuss, get off our chest. And yeah.
I want to discuss something that you've already brought to the table before, but I feel like it needs to be brought up again. Stan culture is absolutely disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
It goes too far. And I'm talking about stands, like the definition of a stan according to Eminem, who I didn't know had a new album out, and he was nominated. And I was like, okay.
Missed that. Totally missed that.
Yeah, same.
Congratulations, or I'm sorry. I don't know.
I mean, he lost to Doechii, so.
No, was he happy he got nominated?
He wasn't there, so who knows?
Oh, that's okay. Really? Who can ever know?
Who knows? So, people that take things to the extreme, and it's also things that the people that they're standing over probably wouldn't stand for. I say probably, except for one person that I'll discuss later, but I won't actually say their name. You can figure it out. I am not saying their name.
We have done everything in our power that we do not talk about this.
No, we talk around it. We talked around it.
I'm afraid. And here's the thing. I pick up what you guys are putting down. I see what the power you have. I don't want to fuck with it. Do I align with your mission?
Should I just start there?
Yeah.
Maybe I should just start
there.
Okay, so our friend of the podcast, Jamila Bill, she tweeted something that is related to what I'll talk to in a few seconds. But she tweeted, if you could buy a Grammy, then your faves, plural, faves, would have one. Not talking about one thing and not talking about one artists, but also just specifically talking about Beyonce. Because people are saying that the reason that Beyonce won Album of the Year was because Jay-Z bought it.
Which is crazy because I don't know if these people understand that Jay-Z didn't win the lottery. Jay-Z has had this wealth and
He could have bought it at any time.
Beyonce could have had every Grammy ever. He might have been able to pay for a backlog of Grammys and said, give that back to me.
Right. That makes zero sense. And so that is specifically what Jamila was talking about. People know that this specific fandom are very devoted to the person that they fan over. For some reason, they thought that Jamila was talking about them. And she was not in the least. And they came after her. They're still coming after her. And they doxed her. Luckily, the information that they put out was an old apartment she hasn't lived at in years. They posted her dad's phone number online. And as Jamila said, her dad stays strapped, so good luck.
Yeah, she's like, good luck. Like, okay.
But they also her grandmother recently passed away, and Jamila has talked at length about how close she was with her grandmother. And they were using her grandmother's photo as their profile picture as a way to say and do the most egregious, disgusting things to her. And this is really what my hot take is that if you are the artist and you see, because we know that you're online a lot, and you see that your fandom is going after people, and this goes across for what I'm going to talk about in a second, is you should say something, because these threats are getting ridiculous. They've been ridiculous. I mean, the earliest fandom that I'm aware of, and this is only because my 7th grade music teacher was obsessed with the Beatles and made us watch every documentary ever known about the Beatles and Beatlemania, and the way those people was wild. That's the earliest one I know because I was forced to learn about it. But like, we have to, like, there has to be something done, because this shit is hateful, sexist, racist, colorist, and is putting people's livelihoods at risk. Also, when I talk about like artist responsibility, and I know, and I'm not specifically talking about, people will take it like I'm talking about Billie Eilish. I like Billie. She was in my top music. I enjoy her music. Meghan and I had a discussion earlier this week about this, but like, why are people so mad that Billie lost Album of the Year? And when I say people, I'm talking about her fans, her stands, I should say, her stands, because I am a fan, I'm not a stan. Her stands were so mad she didn't win Album of the Year, and are blaming Beyonce, saying it's not a great album, when she literally was nominated for 7 awards and didn't take home 1. But you're not mad at Sabrina. You're not mad at Chapel. I don't know what else she was nominated for, so I can't keep going. but like, I guess Kendrick, Song of the Year?
Song of the Year.
Yeah. You're not mad at Kendrick?
Or music video? But
I
he
don't
was
think
both.
they do music videos at Grammys, do they?
No, yeah, they do.
Oh.
Yeah. But Kendrick was nominated for both, but I'm not sure which one he beat her for. I don't know if he beat her on both or just one.
Well, Kendrick swept, so.
No, I know, but I don't know if they're saying that he beat her, because like they're being very selective. They're like, they do come after Kendrick for one of them, but I don't think they're coming after him for both.
Got it. And saying that Beyonce doesn't deserve it, saying Kendrick doesn't deserve it, but you're not going after like the other white people that won over her. So Billie did make a statement, but it was in a story.
Oh, I missed that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't even see
and it wasn't specifically saying, it was more just like congratulatory and not specifically saying like what y'all are doing is wrong. And I know that she's young, but she's been in this industry for a minute, and people are literally her stands are being so racist, it's sickening. And they're also doxing Beyonce fans. And Billie is she's a genius she's young, she's a genius. I enjoy her music. She's also a huge fan of Beyonce. So much so that I don't know why this clip isn't everywhere, but like when Beyonce was walking in, Billie turned around and like jumped because she was so excited to see Beyonce. We've seen her fangirl at the last Grammys when everybody was like lining up. Beyonce specifically went over to talk to Billie and Phineas, like detouring the line, and they were so excited. Billie was crying about Beyonce because she was excited, not because she lost. So like, I think that Billie needs to make a statement. Like, what y'all are doing and saying should not be tolerated. She doesn't tolerate it.
No, it's so like, I cannot stress how embarrassing of behavior it is, because like, you are treating Billie like she is this emotional, inconsolable, fragile little girl, while also at the same time saying she's like an absolute powerhouse. No one can touch her. She's so like strong and like talented. And I'm like, you can't do that aspect of it. And like, even people who are saying like, you know, Billie's like, no, skip album. I'm like, okay, your opinion, sure, totally. But the amount of people who quite literally have told me that like Beyonce doesn't like it's not country, or like the album is not good, blah blah blah, it doesn't have any of the qualities. And I was like, what part are you talking about? And I'm like, have you listened? And they go, I haven't listened. And I was like,
exactly, they haven't listened. But even if that's the criteria, the category was album of the year. It doesn't even matter what category the actual album genre the actual album is. It's overall. And Billie lost in everything.
But so how did you Beyonce didn't win a CMA, she shouldn't have been able to win an album of the year because she only won one country music award, and it was that same night. I'm like, you're insane. Like,
but she also won for best duet. And also like, these are values that you know that your artist that you stand over doesn't stand for. So how are you actually a stan? How can you call yourself a fan of this person?
And also someone who so clearly and verbally has shown their affinity for Black culture. And
walk a day in her shoes every day in her life.
And like, she grew up in LA. Like, this is not there's like a reason why a lot of people who might not be quote unquote cool with a white girl dressing the way she does, even like talking in interviews when she was younger, a lot of people have been like, she grew up in, like, this is who she grew up, she grew up in, all of that kind of stuff. And so like, this is not, they understand, that's the part that really fucking frustrates me, is like, there is no pleading ignorance of like not understanding Black culture. I'm like, she references Black culture. Like so you can't be her biggest fan and then completely neglect that aspect of it, as well as neglecting the fact that like, she's a huge Beyonce fan. It's just wild to me. And I've like, at this point, depending on who's saying it, saying Beyonce should have won for Lemonade, to me is now giving dog whistle, because I'm going like, you just started saying this today. Yep. It's because it's far enough away that you now can say this, but
you wouldn't have said it then.
And you know what you're not hearing them say? Beyonce should have won over Harry's House. Not hearing that.
Nope.
Not hearing that. And that, all of those things are true. She should have won for all of those. But like, now to say she should have won for Lemonade, that's such a fucking safe and easy thing to say, because you don't want to, I still think Harry Styles, like, it just makes me so irate. And like, when everybody else cites her and references her as like the inspiration and the best of the best, I'm sorry, while she is still making music and putting out music, the person who's inspiring everybody else, she is going to win. In my heart, she will win. The Academy might not recognize her, but there's a reason why Beyonce fans are like absolutely celebrating this, because it is so long overdue. And
her biggest fans being the people that were there in the room with her.
Yep. Melissa, I literally like almost cussed them. I was so fucking mad. They were like, well, Academies get it wrong. Like it's like Amelia Perez. And I was like, if you compare Cowboy Carter to Amelia Perez, this is going to be the last breath you take. You're comparing something that is objectively bad, also offensive. Also, part of the reason why that's blowing up, which I didn't even realize, they used a ton of AI. So like, they're really trying to push that forward. It is a butchering of a actual culture and a cultural experience and situation, current event that is told through someone who has zero experience with that or any of that. And you are saying the same thing about a Black woman writing a country album that is good. And it's so fucking embarrassing. And I hope people do know that you might think that you're like defending your favorite or it's just all opinions or whatever. Those people's PR teams, they know this. If there's a fan event, a pop-up, you're not going to get invited.
Yep.
You have this on your social media footprint. I am telling you right now. No, those teams know. They're not going to kick you out of the concert, but like you are going to get pulled up. You're not going to get any of those. You're not going to get those fandom things. You're not going to get that at all. They run a tight fucking ship. All of them do. And I also think that like there is a level of talent to being on Stan Twitter specifically that can translate to other things. And if you're going to waste that drive, ambition, potential, humor, quickness, like social media literacy on making people feel unsafe, like you're not going to get a good job. Like it will be your downfall.
Do something better with your fucking time.
That's, I mean, you can work at the fucking Pentagon with that. Or like, I think about
or like
Lil Nas X he was a Stan Twitter account and like he does not post that or do that stuff anymore. But like he was such a huge fan of artists and would like, say whatever things. And I'm sure he would think his delivery and all the stuff that he says, like wouldn't stand by, but he's able to like use that like quote unquote trolling or all that to assist his own career, his own songwriting and all of that stuff that is not that's not hurting anyone, putting anyone in danger. He's using that skill and that talent for his own personal, like his career and like his dream and his goal. If your goal is just to be a permanent, like absolute out of pocket fucking fan of somebody else, the end goal of that is not meeting them or having your idol love you. The end of that goal of that is a restraining order.
If you want your idol to love you, maybe know who you are, why don't you take that time and devote it to one of the causes that they are so passionate about?
Mm-hmm.
You could use all that energy to do good in the world.
Yep. Makes me mad. You're not wrong at all.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take a break.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
You found your person. Now let the Knot help you with everything else. The Knot connects you to the wedding inspo, vendors, venues, and planning tools you need to make your day totally you. Having helped plan 25 million weddings, we've got your back when it comes to every little detail like RSVPs, budgets, and more. Because your wedding comes to life with the connections that matter the most. Get started at theknot.com/audio. The Knot. Let's plan your wedding together.
We're back for the next. Mine is a little silly, but at the same time, it's also incredibly serious. And I need as a community for us to come together. And we need we need to do something about this. Stop making food videos sexual. It was funny for the first 1 or 2 times. At this current day, 2025, I can't just scroll through my feed, happy-go-lucky, looking for some people cooking food, because I open the comments and what do I see lurking over the comments is their eyes wide open staring at me, maintaining eye contact where they're kneading bread. I don't like that. I need you to not have your very close-up mic as you thrust and pound and slap your sourdough, all the while maintaining eye contact with me. I hate it so much. Anthony Bourdain he's rolling over in his grave. Like, it is making me so mad because, by the way, none of this sexual food looks good. Now, if you are that French man...
hold on, before you move over, you're not going to do when they cut a piece of fruit open, like a kiwi, and then finger it, and then it squirts?
You guys... Men have to die. Like, we can't have any more men. Like, there's something wrong. Yeah. There is something so inherently wrong with these men.
Yes.
And like,
you were about to talk about my favorite chocolatier French man.
Now, here's the thing. That man, that is not nearly as intentional. There are 2 caveats that I will give. Pastry, when it's that, because you can't fake that. So many of these food videos, the food is not, they're not doing a good job. It's not, and they're just doing it. It's kink. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah. When that one guy that always has a toothpick in his mouth and then spits.
The unsanitary level of that kitchen is so fucking disgusting. Like, that man has never, I don't even think he owns Lysol. Like, so fucking gross.
No, that's part of his thing too. He'll clean and make it sexual.
Oh, I thought he was doing vinegar.
He might be doing bigger.
Yeah, I don't think that man's using any real chemicals. But like, the 2 exceptions I will make is to content that the what you are making in itself feels kind of sexual. Certain pastries, yeah, you're stuffing, you're cream filling,
you're drizzling the chocolate.
Totally. But there's a level of skill required there that you can't make sex the priority.
Yeah.
Because that shit has to rise. Like, you gotta that yeast there's a time on here. This gotta cure all of those things. So that is it is a side effect byproduct of chocolate being sexy. That is fine.
Yeah. And the chocolate, the man, I've only seen him do one.
Where it looked like a butt cheek.
And that was his recent video, but like,
I don't even think that was on purpose.
Yeah, like he seems very wholesome.
We're not getting slow zoom in shots with his fucking pupils looking at me as he's like dragging a finger on the fucking crack.
Putting work in. He's doing actual work.
And he is trained. Like, the end result is not like, oh, thank you, I orgasmed. It's like, oh, thank you, this looks delicious. Like, I would love to get this next time I am at a pastry shop. Like, it is a skill. The skill is first. That's what's coming fucking first. And then the only other time that I'm going to say, anytime that's like it's a byproduct, if these people want to get into making pottery, that's fine. You can have horny pottery, but get your fucking dick out of my food. Like, it's so...
But the stuff with the pottery, too, also, a lot of it is bad. Like, they're never going to actually be able to put that in a kiln because it will fucking explode.
Listen, those people don't even have access to a kiln, so I don't care as much. These other people are wasting food. Like, that's pissing me the fuck off. It just makes me so mad. And I hate that, like, yes, I really fucking hate when men do it, but I'm really good. I don't have pretty much any men on my feed. It's not coming up. Now, to my women, my girls, I understand.
I haven't seen any of the
Melisa, I understand you need to make a buck, but the issue is that men are so stupid. So the way that women do this to like get people to fall for it is it's like horny and helpless. So like they're bad at it.
Getting the clothes out the dryer.
Yes, Melisa. Oh no, stepbrother, I'm stuck. Like it is so fucking annoying. And then people will do like softcore versions of it where they're just maintaining eye contact with you the whole fucking time. Melissa, it kills me and it makes me so mad because I go, and this is the issue. The cover art, you go, that looks like a beautiful loaf of bread. And suddenly you're just met with this like blonde woman with her eyes just staring at you. This like smile the whole time. I go, oh my God, stop looking at me. And it's like, do you do this to go to the dentist? Are you maintaining eye contact like this with everyone? You are. The quality of your food, I think this is Play-Doh now. This isn't even real food at this point because why are you playing so much? Make the fucking bread. We don't have to see your face. There are so many people who don't even show their face doing this. And at that point, if you want to do horny food videos, go sit on a cake on OnlyFans. But get off my fucking feed.
Do you think that they're using it to direct people to OnlyFans?
But I didn't consent to you being horny with a loaf of bread.
There's a lot of people being horny on TikTok that when you look into it more,
and
it's just it's advertisement for their Twitter OnlyFans.
And that is fine, but stop doing that with fucking food, because there is an actual need for that. Like, I actually need to, I want to know how to make these things. And when you are showing me what I think is a nice, beautiful still of a wonderful piece of bread, and instead it's you fucking me, and they're not even good actors either, because I'm just like, it makes me so deeply uncomfortable. And I know that, like, it's half rage bait, and it's like the same people who like pour spaghetti on the counters and stuff, and they're like,
which some
it's
people
so
say that's also a kink too.
It is a kink.
Yeah.
Without
and they're
doubt.
like doing these weird hand signals to signify like there's more to come if you send me Venmo.
Have you ever thought about just like showing your titties? Like, I just like, whatever happened to like good old titties? Like stop with this, like, and you're buying the ingredients, and like eggs are so expensive and you're gonna waste them like that. Like, it is killing me. And specifically it's killing me because these people they're not like selling it with like, if you showed me, what's that one girl's name? I won't say it, but you know what I'm talking about. The cook with, is it Kaya? All these boyfriends were like making this food, and they like told their girlfriend where, and they're like, who is this? And it's a girl who like has an OnlyFans, but she's like cooking in like a bra and underwear, and everyone's like,
I don't know who that is.
I can't remember her name. But like, for me, there's a difference between like, hey, I'm a baddie trying to cook, and like, look at me doing this, versus like a fucking suburban housewife who's like wearing a turtleneck and like chinos, who's fucking the camera while rolling out her like yeasty buns. Like, that to me is fucking crazy, because I don't know that that's what's happening until we start. Like, that was not you didn't show up with like your, like, you know, it wasn't like a sexual image, and now you just have like creeps, and then I'm sure like children, and people are like, this is funny. I'm like, this is not funny.
Yeah, I agree. I think I might have touched on this before too. We're both doubling back on things that the other has talked about. At first I thought it was funny, and then when more people started doing it, I was like, oh no, y'all are serious when they have on the tightest, and I'm talking about men, not even women, because I haven't seen any of the women's content, have on the tightest shorts you've ever seen. And then they're bending over, full ass, and they're usually see-through shorts too, full ass, so that they can get something out the oven. And the thing in the oven doesn't even look like it's done. No,
because they can't fucking cook. At least finger paint, like, do something else. Like, I'm fine with your horny content, but like, get off of my feed when I've curated. Like, what do you mean I'm a dense bean salad, and then I just see your like
moose knuckle
with your like raw fucking pizza dough? Like, get out.
Have a skill. If you can do both, like, be good at it. Like, and here's somebody who's not even making specific sexual content, but it's still sexual. Thor. Sometimes he's like, I made 2 versions of this video, depending on what you're in. You're seeing X, Y, and Z version. And one version is him moaning excessively, but he has a message behind what he's doing.
Yeah, like, I'm okay with people being horny.
Yeah.
I'm okay with people being horny on Maine. I'm not okay with people being horny with food waste, and people being horny and being bad at what they do.
Yeah, that's what
be good and horny. Don't be bad and horny.
There was a show that was on the Cooking Network, and it was this man, and this was like earlier, I would say at least 5 years ago. And there's this full commercial of this very attractive man cooking in just an apron. And I was like, and I literally responded and said, this is the first ad I've sat all the way through.
That's the Naked Baker. We used the same set.
Was that him?
I'm sure.
And he responded back to me. And I was like, see, this man has a skill and he's being sexy. There's
nothing sexier
than having a skill. Come skill first, not dick first.
Yes. Because
if you're coming with an unskilled dick, nobody wants that.
Can you imagine walking down the aisle and getting married, and they're like, oh, what does your husband do? And you go, oh, he pretends to cook on TikTok with his dick out. Like,
he fingers papaya.
That's crazy. That is so fucking crazy. I hate that. I hate it so much. I'm trying to find this lady to show you. If I find it,
I don't want it.
I will say there's another woman who's like a hairstylist who she just like makes eye contact with the whole camera. She's like the whole time she's watching people's hair. That content doesn't threaten me as much because she's making that for women. And she's a woman.
Also washing hair. Like, that's something that needs to be done. And I'm sure she's doing it with skill.
Totally. But I just mean like in the sense of like, it's feeling very intimate, but I'm like, she's a lesbian. This is for the lesbians. And I don't feel threatened by her and her and
it's also she's not for you. So
no, exactly. And that's what I mean. It's like versus when I see women who are doing it to appeal to men, or when I'm like, I'm not learning how to bleach my hair. She's doing it. Like, this is not like, let me teach you how to make cinnamon rolls. And then all I'm fucking seeing is you shoving your titty into a cinnamon roll. Like, I didn't learn anything. Like, that's crazy.
Let me write that down for content for me to do because I'm excellent at making cinnamon rolls. And I love putting my titties out. They've been covered up all day.
And even sometimes how people do it and like now I'm like hypercritical, but when people like make their food videos too slow, I go, you're trying to be sexy. Like, even this, it's not even that slow, but like, speed it up.
This doesn't even look good though. Is it for Valentine's Day? I don't like people. Can I give you a few of my food hot takes?
Yeah.
Also, you should check the video I sent you before the last video I sent you on Instagram because it goes perfectly with this discussion. I don't like people putting excessive salt on my cookies. Anything like I keep that away from my baked goods. If you are a person that wants,
Melissa just sent me a fucking robot.
I didn't just send it to you. I sent it to you like days ago. But it's exactly what you're talking about, but for the digital age.
That is so scary.
You want to share with the class?
No, I'm so afraid.
It's a robot kneading bread, but it's like fucking the bread, essentially.
Yeah. I hate it. I hate it a lot.
I know you hate both robots.
I really hate robots. By the way, I really hate robots. I really hate robots that stand on their hind legs. And I really hate this kind of food sexy things. Oh no.
But if you want to put, I feel like every bakery I go to now is putting big fucking flaky sea salt on everything and not giving me a choice to not have it. I went to 2 different bakeries yesterday, or places. One was specifically a bakery and one was a place that had baked goods, and every dessert had big ass flakes of salt on it. I don't want that. I do not think that it enhances the flavor. For me, it just tastes salty.
Yeah.
So maybe just have some salt on the side. And if people want that, they can put it on themselves. 2, sourdough. I hate it. I hate the way it looks. I hate the way it tastes. And I also hate that people brag about having pre-Civil War starters for it.
No, Melissa,
why?
That is one that I go, keep that to yourself.
Why? That
it is giving,
so
I don't wash the pan.
Nasty. That is so disgusting.
My grandma passed down this cast iron. I haven't soap hasn't touched it since. Keep that so far away from me. And by the way, your grandma's rolling over in her grave. Grandma wanted you to wash that shit.
Fondant is another one. There's a difference between cake that you can eat and cake that's art. Keep the art cake over there. That's what fondant is, art cake. You can't eat that shit.
No, you can't.
It's disgusting. Imagine shitting out a crayon, and that's what fondant is.
That's a really good way to put it. It is.
Finally, cheesecake. Do I like cheesecake? Yes.
I don't want to see how it's made.
It's not even about how it's made. Everything doesn't go on cheesecake. Sage does not go on a cheesecake. I saw that in our Instagram feed. I don't know why we're getting all cheesecakes this week, but I saw fucking sage cheesecake. Nasty. And the final one is not everything needs to have food coloring in it. All these, goes back to that, whatever that fucking pink cinnamon ones. Roll you were making pink. Mm-hmm. It looks awful. Like, it really looks nasty.
It looks inedible.
Yes. And it's in the same category with fondant to me.
I agree with you.
Okay. Those are my takes. I've been sitting on these for weeks.
I don't disagree with you. I think that like there are so many interesting ways we can like pair food together, but like when you have to be like cranking out, when you become like a food content creator or whatever, especially a horny one with no skills, when you have to like crank out all these different recipes every single week, we're literally just making shit up.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks objectively bad, and you don't even care because you're too busy making bedroom eyes at me. And then also, they specifically position it so it's over the comments, so I can't escape it.
Yeah, they do that on purpose.
On purpose. And it's like a rage bait that I just think, like, you guys, it's objectively weird to, and like, I'm someone egotistical. I'm just a Leo. So when I became a cum tribute, I said, I love that. That makes me feel so good. And I'm not kidding. I'm not lying. But if I spent my whole career knowing that I am going to make profiteroles or tiramisu, and I know that the only thing people are doing is ejaculating while I'm making this, I'm going to do something a little fucking easier, or something that doesn't take as much time. I'm going to finger paint. Like if my goal is to get these men to finish to completion, I'm not spending all this money on ingredients and like dirtying the kit. Like, oh my God, it just makes me so mad. And then they blow up and they get like so big, and I'm like, you don't even know what the fuck you're doing. Yes. Bad and horny. Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places, between payroll, your tax consultant, and the IRS. If your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
Hello, I am Kristen Russo.
And I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
We are the hosts of Buffering the Vampire Slayer once more, with spoilers, a rewatch podcast covering all 144 episodes of, you guessed it, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
We are here to humbly invite you to join us for our 5th Buffy prom, which, if you can believe it, we are hosting at the actual Sunnydale High School. That's right. On April 4th and 5th, we will be descending upon the campus of Torrance High School, which was the filming location for Buffy's Sunnydale High, to dance the night away to 90s music in the iconic courtyard, to sip on punch right next to the Sunnydale High fountain, and to nerd out together in our prom best inside of the set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
All information and tickets can be found at bufferingcast.com/prom. Come join us.
We're back. It's time for But Are You Wrong? And this is where we read your submissions that you send to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. Keep it at 300 words. We do ask that you keep it anonymous. Let us know your age, though. You would be 18 or over, to write in. Tell us the predicament you found yourself in, and we will tell you if you are in the wrong.
All right. Hi, Meghan and Melissa. I'm 22, he, him. I'm a shift lead at my job. In the summer, we hired several new people, one of them being I'm just going to change it because I don't want my device to go off all through during this.
Yeah, please never use that one as the fake name.
Hold on.
Oh, my God. Red Room of Pain. Does that get you horny, the bagel talk? Launch the Patreon. Melissa just got you literally look like you're about to teach Barry's boot camp. All right, everybody. Grab the dumbbells. Wear your shirt and tread or floor.
Alexa, make the light white. Yeah, so that's why I'm not using that name. I'm going to call it Barry.
You're welcome.
One of them being Barry. A couple months in, I noticed Barry become short with me. Once we were closing, she was sitting on her phone, even though she already had a break that day. I said, Barry, can you help us close? She said, in a minute, staying on her phone. I mentioned it to our manager that day, then moved on. Once in December, all of the new hires forgot to close. After searching for them for a while, I closed by myself. Later, I found them all together eating leftovers from the Christmas party. I said, guys, I just had to close by myself. And most said sorry. Last week when Barry arrived, I waved at her, but she didn't wave back. I didn't think much of this until later. Barry was sitting, reading a book instead of opening. I put brooms on her table and said, Barry, could you help me sweep? She didn't respond. I said, Barry. She still didn't respond. She had already put her 2 weeks notice in, so I didn't tell anyone. On her last day, she announced to everyone behind my back that I was the reason she quit. Apparently, the time I told everyone that I had to close by myself was passive-aggressive and annoying, and she thinks I have been holding a grudge against her since that day. I can see why she might think I was holding a grudge, but only since last week. After she ignored me, I stopped speaking to her because I knew she'd be gone soon anyway. Was I wrong? Do you have any idea why she hates me? I think so. And I'm sorry. I don't want to be mean, but are you her boss?
Yeah, I'm a little confused. Why?
It doesn't, because you have a manager.
Was what she doing wrong? Like she's not allowed, like, or is it just like kind of inconsiderate?
Yeah, like I understand her being on her phone is annoying, but I'm of the mind
she was clocking in and clocking out.
That yes, she showed up to work and she was just showing up to work, and you probably take your job seriously, which is a good thing.
Not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. But you might, and from the tone of this, and I'm not trying to be mean to you, but from the tone of this,
you would hate me at work.
You sound a bit too in like with your job, and you know, you can do good. It's good to have things that you're passionate about. But in this situation, especially since you're not her boss and you snitched on her for being on her phone, I would have been a little bit more cool, like going over to her and being like, hey, you know, our manager really doesn't like us being on our phones. Like something like that instead of snitched. Or before you had to close by yourself, going to find them and being like, hey, like locking the door, of course, but being like, hey guys, because you did find them, and I don't know how big this place was, but you did find them. So like, instead of doing everything by yourself, going to find them first and saying, hey guys, it's time to close. Let's close down. And then we can have food later.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might have been the reason, because you just were going above and beyond, and she was there to check in and out.
Yeah. And like having like coworkers who like are not doing a good job or are like phoning it in a way that like that means you have to do more work. That's not I'm not saying that that's like a good thing or whatever. It's just like, you know,
your delivery for handling it.
Well, I don't know that there's anything to do about that besides like complain. And like you did that. I don't think people are going to be happy that you did that. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things, but also like she's quitting. Mm-hmm. So the problem is solved.
Right.
It was either that or she said, okay, did nothing and then still continued to like do this. So I think like it's just a matter of like whatever you're fine with putting up with. But like in general, correcting people when that is not your job will seldom go over well.
Mm-hmm.
So
here we are.
I kind of think you're in the wrong, but also it's probably not the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't know your job as well as you do. Where did she say they worked?
Didn't, but it seems like
retail,
something like that.
Okay, if it's retail, I think retail is so not that serious.
No, I used to hang out in the dressing room just because I could.
I think if it's restaurant and like food handling and like there's that level of closing up with like, you know, quality, safety, all that kind of stuff, that I think is like you know, being a stickler for it, because like you've got not even just like or anything like where like the like OSHA or like food and drug stuff is involved, like any of that sort of handling stuff. I don't think that's dramatic at all of needing to report someone, because if it's like if they're closing and you're like they're not doing enough, whatever it is. But I think if it's retail, if this is just like folding jeans at Madewell, not that that's not hard. I just don't think that I'm assuming that she maybe is not doesn't have a passion for that.
Like you didn't have a passion for TCBY.
Except I did lie on my application and verbatim said I have a passion for yogurt, and that is what got me hired. And that I can own was in fact a lie. Though I will say I definitely thought I had an affinity for yogurt until I got there and I said I actually hate this place.
Yeah.
This is disgusting.
I didn't have a passion for Dillard's. I didn't have a passion for Vitamin World. I didn't have a passion for Lady Foot Locker.
You should have though. I kind of low key love Lady Foot Locker.
The Puma zip up hoodie that I wore the last episode, I've had that since I worked there when I was 16. It was my first like big purchase that I ever had that was like over $100 that I spent my own money on.
I always just remember the Lady Foot Locker stores just being so big and bright and like so many things.
The problem was, and I talked about it before, was that my godmother's niece hired me and she was stealing my money from commission, saying that they were no longer doing commission, and then she got caught stealing a lot of products later on.
And you know what? She was there for a good time, not a long time.
And I was there just because.
Exactly. Would you have ratted her out?
No.
See? But here's the thing, like
she was the manager. Like she was who would have I ratted her out to? I would have to call the district manager.
Was she doing one of the gift card schemes?
No, she was literally just buying, like taking stuff out the stock and then not clocking it as it being in the store.
Oh, that's less highbrow than the gift card scams. Yeah. I feel like everyone I know who got a manager job in retail pretty young. It was opportunity for that.
She wasn't that young. She was in her 20s, so.
Oh. Yeah. I
think she was either in college or had just graduated, something like that.
But you know what I have to say though? You have this writer, you have management potential.
Yeah. This is management potential. So maybe you should be gunning for that if you're not already.
And if that hurts your feelings, sit with that. And reevaluate. There's nothing wrong. Everybody needs a manager. Everyone needs a manager. Some people want to be the manager. Some people know that they'll have to be managed eventually.
Yep.
And it's what role you want to take on. I'm not a manager.
I am, but only for my own company. And that's CEO versus manager.
I'm a creative.
Yeah.
I'm a dreamer. Okay. I'm 36, she, her, and my husband is 38, he, him. We've been married for 8 years. Recently, our sex life has been awful. We've been having sex, but the quality has gone down significantly. It's not that he's not trying or putting in effort. It's just that it's just bad. I don't know what's changed. Would I be wrong to tell him we need to go to a sex lesson? I like this dungeon place that offers instructional classes, and I think it'd be fun to awaken something that's died within us. First of all, change your goddamn phrasing. Hey, husband, we gotta go to a dungeon because something has died within us. Oh my God, he's gonna drive you straight to the attorney's office. Lawyer, divorce. Oh my God, I'm addicted to the lack of tact that some of you have when like describing these things because I respect it. I now I know exactly how you feel. Let's workshop. Right. You would be wrong if you just did that point blank straight
up. Okay, so here's the thing. We're being set up right now at the perfect opportune time. Valentine's Day is coming up. You just propose it as a fun, sexy thing that you do together.
Yeah, you don't propose it as a solution to a problem. He has no idea that's happening. Do you still find him hot? Are you still attracted to him? I'm gonna, I might be stepping out and you're like, this is kind of offensive. You sound like someone who maybe has recently got into reading fantasy books. Are you lusting after men with wings? Like, are you feeling horny for fairies? Are you feeling horny for men with tusks and horns? Because get him a fun little outfit. But like, if it has been objectively bad and nothing has changed,
it might be you too.
I fear it's you who has also changed.
I just imagine he's still putting in work. He's just like, he's plowing me, but he's not reaching the goal.
I'm picturing him sweating,
panting, on top of her
so hard. Like he's trying to build a fucking IKEA bookshelf and it's just not happening.
There's just a lot of eye contact and she's just like lying there. Like,
and she's reading her book about the horny fairies. And I'm like, what if we go to a dungeon?
Also, are you guys kinky already?
Because I'm going to say a sex lesson What does that even mean? Like, how much have you vetted this? Yelp?
I've seen based on
your fucking algorithm.
No, not even that. Someone that we've had as a guest on this show, they posted in their close friends. I don't know why I was included in it.
Damn, you're in a lot of people's close friends. We're learning.
I know.
You're really popular.
I guess people just trust me with their secrets.
They shouldn't, because you're telling me, and I love it.
And I'm telling people on there. And she is a member of one of these dungeon places and has openly invited people on her close friends to come participate when they do have classes. So I know that they exist.
Happy for them.
Yeah.
I just think that, like, you really can't just like spring public sex on someone.
Maybe they're private lessons. There's
one
was
a coach,
open,
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was open to either private or group lessons.
Okay, but if this man has only been having sex with her, suddenly there being a stranger in the room coaching him, saying a little more to the left, a little more to the right, really put your back into it. That I think is, I don't think you can do that unprompted. I don't think you can. It's like an unprompted cucking it's like a unprompted backseat cucking. That's crazy.
I did see on that show that reality show where that old lady was building sex dungeons.
Yes.
There was one where they visited the sex dungeon and the instructor just kind of taught them how to use specific tools in the bedrooms, like whips and things of that nature, how to perfectly tie a knot.
I don't think men should know how to tie knots. That's just a slippery slope. It's dangerous.
So maybe if it's like just specifically instructional to this, but I think I think you need to figure out why you're not enjoying this anymore.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't want to have sex with your husband anymore, having having that realization while a professional is there guiding you guys how to fuck that's bad. Mm-hmm. That's rough. Like, you're asking him to do a lot.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a very vulnerable thing. If you're like, what at the end you go, I'm actually just not into your dick. Like, that's, maybe he didn't.
Maybe it's not a him thing, like we said before.
Yeah.
So figure out the why first, and then propose this as a sexy time as opposed to a lesson. They're also, remember also those yoga classes? They're quote unquote yoga classes.
That's what I'm thinking about. And I'm
those
imagining
people were horny. Everybody in that class was horny.
It is quite literally group sex. Like,
yeah,
if that was sprung on me,
said, I don't know why I get targeted all this stuff on
I know
reels, but Megan and I literally said, like, if they turn the lights out, I'm sure when the camera goes off, they are having an orgy.
No, and like, I can't say that anything I would like to happen less at a workout class.
Unless that's something you're into. If you're just bunch of
that's
voyeurs.
why you can't spring it on him.
Yeah.
It has to be like hey, honey, how do you feel about railing me in a group yoga class with other people railing their wives?
But it's clothes, so it's dry humping. And I know how much you love that
hot,
word.
It's Bikram in there, fucking sweaty and shit. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, it is not fun and sexy when the goal of it is, I have to correct you because you are bad at this. It has to be fun and sexy. Like, and I'm really, like, I know I'm being funny, but, like, I am genuinely not kidding. If you are reading, like, horny fantasy books, you have to stop.
Yeah, because it's giving you unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
But if you just find out that you're into kink, then this is something we explore, but it's not because he's bad at sex.
Yeah.
It's because there's something in you that you realize that needs to be awakened since it's died in you.
I can't believe our relationship has died. That is, don't say that unless you, like, really just don't want to ever have sex again. Because, like, I don't really know how you bounce back from that.
I was seeing which word choice you were going to go with that. Because if you said come back, I was like, well, she's not coming anyway. I wanted you to set me up so bad.
I'm sorry. This is just so... Wow. Like, does he have any idea he's doing a bad job either? Like, that's the part that, like, I need to know. Here you have me feeling bad for a man. Or you just have to break up with him. But I mean, like, not to give you, like, full advice and not to, like, totally scare you. Is anything making you horny? Because you could also be going through perimenopause.
Yeah, early onset perimenopause is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're getting off other ways.
Yeah, because I know you didn't say this, but for some reason, you sound horny.
Yeah.
So just not for him.
Yeah.
I think something could be done. I don't know that a sex dungeon is the thing I would do. Because you imagine if he's bad when it's just you two, how much worse he's going to be in front of other people?
Or maybe he's really good and it's just that she's just not into it.
Yeah. Just get him some like Mr. Tumnus outfit and say, like, call him like my liege or whatever. Stick it in, my liege. Wrong hole, my liege.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We love movies, and we come at them from different perspectives.
Yeah, like Amy thinks that, Joe Pesci was miscast in Goodfellas, and I don't.
He's too old. Let's not forget that Paul thinks that Dune 2 is overrated.
It is.
Anyway, despite this, we come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
We've done deep dives on popcorn flicks. We've talked about why Independence Day deserves a second look.
And we've talked about horror movies, some that you've never even heard of, like Ganja and Hess.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.
We're back. It's time for the next segment, which is the segment called
But Are They Wrong?
Where we nominate the worst of the week, the wrong of the week, someone who is just doing something stupid, silly, and bad that we don't like. And we would like to publicly shame them.
Yeah, I'm staying on my theme for the week, which is the Grammys. And something really made me mad, even more than seeing that satanic sexual music maker from the pits of hell, Abel, on the stage and having this big introduction. And so, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're listening to this. I want to talk to you today about a moment at the 2025 Grammy Awards that really sparked outrage and a much needed conversation about the respect of our music legends. It involves the iconic Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, a 13-time Grammy winner, and a red carpet interview that went terribly wrong. Picture this. Babyface, a man who has shaped the sound of generations, is being interviewed by an Associated Press reporter.
The people who we look to for the election. That's the part that really stressed me out.
Not this election. They're like
they're the top of the top
pinnacle.
Of
like
fact-checking.
Usually in your local papers, when it's national news, it has come from the AP, and then it's been rewritten by somebody from the news desk at whatever.
It's like a whole other level of like quality control. Yeah. So like that, it shocked me.
Shocking. So we've got reporter Krysta, Fauria, I don't know. And then she spots Chaperone. And we love Chaperone. But she completely disregarded Babyface, the singer of the song that really, if I'm in the mood, turn on Whip Appeal.
Don't talk about being in the mood. You're nasty.
That's exactly what his song Whip Appeal is. It was a song that I liked as a child, but then when I was an adult and learned what this song is about, and I said,
that song,
oh baby.
That song made you a woman.
It did, still does. That's my what was that? That man that was having sex to that.
Yeah. Oh my God, what was it?
What was the name of that song?
It was crazy. It's one of those EDM fucking songs. Mm-hmm. I can't remember, but if anyone hasn't read that Reddit thread, it is so funny. It's my favorite thing when I get to show people that.
So this is Whip Appeal is my version of that.
Got it.
So then Krysta completely disregards Babyface and calls over Chapel, effectively cutting him off mid-sentence. And my beautiful prince, old man, Babyface, still has a baby face.
No, he does. It's a little crazy.
Was ever the gentleman and just stepped aside. Now, this is a blatant disrespect. This was blatantly disrespectful, and it didn't go unnoticed. And I would like to turn everyone's eyes to a legendary singer and icon, the queen of Twitter. And I say Twitter, not what it's called now, because she also refuses to call it that too. Dionne Warwick, she weighed in and said, 13-time Grammy Award winning Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, am I seeing this correctly? That single tweet perfectly captured what happened. Fans across the internet echoed her sentiments, expressing their anger and disappointment. And then the hashtag Respect Babyface began to trend. People called the reporter's actions rude, unprofessional, and talked about Babyface being a pioneer. And in case you don't know Babyface's music, you know Babyface's music. He produced Ariana's first album. He produced a lot of Whitney's music, including what I consider the greatest soundtrack ever. And I haven't even seen this movie because I wasn't allowed to, which is Waiting to Exhale, which Whitney went to, because he just wanted Whitney to do it. And she was like, no, I got to get all my girls on this. And we've got TLC is on it, Toni Braxton, Brandy, Monica. It's the greatest soundtrack that ever existed.
Is it horny? Is that why you couldn't watch it? Or is it violent?
Waiting to Exhale?
Yeah.
It's about cheating men and women getting their revenge on it. That's the movie that has Whitney and Angela Bassett.
I gotta see it.
Yeah, we talked about this like last week.
Oh, yes, it's that one. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
He did TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool. He did Fall Out Boys, Thanks for the Memories, that song. He did so many. He's worked with Patti LaBelle, Chaka Khan, Aretha Franklin, Madonna, Janet Jackson, Faith Evans, Beyonce, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Michael Bolton, Paula Abdul, Eric Clapton. I can keep going because everybody that you love has worked with Babyface. And this is not the first time that I've seen him disrespected on television. He was on an episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
What?
When,
who did that to him?
Yolanda and who was she married to? That music dude. You know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They were having a dinner and Babyface was there, and then Brandy, David Foster, yes. Babyface was there with his fiance. It was just a dinner. Like, it wasn't anything. Babyface wasn't really like trying to talk, just a dinner. And he had just like got engaged, and Brandy leaned over and was like, you need to get her a bigger ring. You're Babyface.
Was it a small ring?
No, it was pretty big. And I'm sure just like the size of it, like it probably had like a very high clarity on it and everything.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good sized ring. Brandy was just drunk, as she often was, and saying things. And she was also hitting on him.
I was going to say, it sounds a little flirtatious.
And so, facing immense public pressure, the AP issued a statement apologizing to Babyface and the viewers. And then Krysta apologized on the live stream, saying she was a big fan, but I guarantee she couldn't name one thing because that disrespect just left a bad taste in my mouth. Babyface, in a statement, took the high road. He focused on positive aspects of the night, emphasizing the power of music and connection he made. And this speaks volumes on Mr. Kenneth Babyface Whoop-a-Pill Edmonds. He really put that whipping on me. It's a question, and in this we should question and ask ourselves, how do we do better in respecting those who paved the way for us? While the apology was there, was it enough? Mainly because this man made Whoop-a-Pill.
This man made so many hits that I'm going to level with you. I thought he was dead. I didn't know he was.
He's not even old.
No, he's like 60 something. Yeah. He has been cranking out hits, I swear to God, since he was 14. It is his career is so legendary that I thought this man was deceased. I thought this man had lived his 150 years. No.
You thought he was looking like David Foster.
I thought he was old. I thought he was Dick Van Dyke's father. I thought he was so fucking old because it spanned so fucking long.
Yes.
And he's quite literally 60.
Yep. He's 65.
And I have to say, I really, really resonated with the look on the face as well as the elbow into the rib cage from her coworker.
Uh-huh.
I understand that feeling.
Were you that person?
Unless I deeply understand the feeling. I will say that I also opted for something that I just called the shimmy and shift, which was, I'm going to scoot my way off camera. I'm not about this. This is not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be doing this here. And it was just so mad. I have to say, though, people coming for both of them and then being like, actually, so sorry, just that one girl.
Just that one girl. Just
and
the
then
one.
People were redacted. So sorry to this other one. And then even when people were like, I can't believe those girls did that, all the comments make just one. Do not come for that other girl. Mm-hmm. That other girl was fine. She looked very embarrassed.
Yeah. Also, it's Black History Month.
And her apology on the live was
it was a producer wrote something real, and she didn't read what they told her to read.
No, she said, I'm just free bought. She probably went to Brown. She was like, I'm smart. I can do this. And I was like, nah, not that smart. Not that smart. Also, what is the Associated Press doing at the Grammys?
Because they cover all the news. This would have been in the AP part of the music news.
Send NPR. Send.
They were probably there too.
I just think
AP, you have to think anything that's news related, AP's going to be there.
Totally. I just don't think they should be given a spot to necessarily interview on the carpet when you are not a music or celebrity forward-facing public relation kind of company. It's just, I think it's quite a large liability. But
You're next.
So I would like to nominate. I was debating if I was going to nominate Alex Earl's stepmom, aka the woman from the Governor Ashley Madison scandal, whoever it was. She was the sex worker who took down one of those ones, and now she's married to Alex Earl's dad. She's hopping on TikTok and spreading insane conspiracy theories, but that's not what I want to talk about. Instead, I would like to nominate the Daily Mail. I know that I said last time people told us to talk about Australian drama. I was like, I don't get Australian drama on my feed. I did get this is Australia. So sometimes Australia ends up there. I'm not picking and choosing. Australians were like, oh, you don't know enough about this. I think that's the key part of this. I don't need to know enough. I don't need to know more about this. I don't need to know, the context is. I don't need to know the context because objectively, you might be letting your dislike or disdain for this person. I don't know why. I don't know what they've done. Cloud why you think this would be okay. So the Daily Mail posted an article with photos of this, I would say, she's a radio host. I think she also is an actress. Not sure. Posted videos and photos of her in a park, crying, stumbling, getting up, and driving with her daughter. And then they also posted a video or photo of her going to a liquor store earlier and buying alcohol, implying that she got drunk and drove her kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it blew up everywhere. There is no video of her drinking. There is no video of her being weight, any of that. And if there was, you need to contact the authorities and take her keys. You don't film it and then sell it and profit off of this story. So she has now since like broken her silence from this, but it like seems like they like followed her from the store where she bought the bottle of alcohol to the park. And like she's having like she's not doing like she does not look like she's doing well. She's sobbing. Like she does not look like she's doing well. And she made a statement saying, I struggle with mental health issues at times, which are deeply personal. This has proven to be a bigger challenge than I imagined. So I've decided to take a break from the show, her radio show. And the team who I love to focus on my health, I want to thank all of you who's helped me through this difficult time. I love you. Thanks to her daughter for being there when she needed her. And it literally goes like the photos go from her driving and they literally like say the car to the bottle shop near her home. And then they follows her to pick her kid up from school. And like, it just is like so disgusting to me that like they like interview a witness who said that she said she looked really distressed. She was walking around in the park talking and suddenly sat down and started rocking her body back and forth crying. It was really, she looked so upset. Her eyes were all red and puffy, blah, 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 blah. And like you have someone who's taking photos, you have someone who's taking videos. You're having time to interview all of these witnesses and like trying to hide it under the guise of implying that she has an alcohol problem and she's putting her kid's life in danger. And they talk about how the kid is in the car while she's sitting outside the car in the park, doing nothing.
But they also knew she wasn't drinking because they followed her all these places.
But they implied that she
hadn't
was
taken it,
drinking.
but they did this to make it salacious.
Yeah. And they were like, she's stumbling. I'm like, her legs could have been asleep. But also, if you thought she was drunk, don't film this. Don't photograph it. Get help. Like, and like everyone's like, well, this is like, and the people who are defending this are like, well, maybe this is like a good wake up call. I go, it's not a good wake up call. It's public shame and embarrassment. Reality, the good wake up call is offering an extended hand of saying, hey, I'm going to take your keys. Do you have someone we can call to pick her up and take her home? And like, you know, you can get this out of your system. Whatever that is, but like not to videoing evidence of someone doing that and then being like, I'm just making sure I have evidence that they put their child's life in danger is not protecting a child's life. That's
an
endangering.
accessory at this point.
Yep. And I think like the Daily Mail just like constantly does these horribly heinous things and articles, and I don't have like high standards for them whatsoever, but like any amount of defending this as like this was a good thing, this is what we have to do as a village and a community is like so wildly fucked up. There are times when I think your phone needs to be up and recording, and that is your civic duty, and that is physical altercations. Mm-hmm. And you also should be intervening. You should be on the phone calling the police. You need to be multitasking. This kid is going to grow up and see this of her mom, and it's just like so awful and heartbreaking, and makes me just like, I just fucking hate the Daily Mail. And do you know how hard, it was even hard for me to go back and find this article because there's 1,001 other fucking horribly shitty things they've said in like the last 24 hours. And I'm like, it's just
about
nonstop.
1 million times on every social media platform, on their website, because they're just trying to be in people's faces all the time, because sometimes it's factual stuff. They're doing kind of like the social media of Candace Owens and other people like her, where like there's factual stuff, but it's also mixed in with salacious things so that you keep coming back.
Yeah. And it feels like there's so much of it that you can't consume all of the bad stuff. So like you don't even realize how the whole scope of how horrible and problematic they are, because you physically can't read it all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just, and I also don't like them falling to the kids' school and then saying they're doing that for the kids' safety. Cool.
It's just a lie. Cool. They knew she didn't drink and they were just trying to make content. Mm-hmm. And then disguise it as the news.
Yep.
All right. That's it. Oh, I did want to do one thing, because since I don't want to do politics things, I do want to do one thing where I nominate somebody that's like the queen of the week.
Oh, I love that.
Same with my Grammys theme is going to be Janelle Monáe, because after the Grammys, there was a little party and she was rapping Nelly's Hot in Here and then spotted him in the crowd and started going. Did you know he was in the crowd? There's other angles of him there and she's talking directly to him. So she stops the song and starts freestyling and talks about him performing at the White House and saying, fuck you. Anderson .Paak is also performing with her. And he's like, hey, maybe chill. And she's like, I'm maybe a little tipsy, but I know what I'm saying. And she just kept going in on him. And I loved it. I love my little, I can look at her eye to eye. She likes to have her titties out as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to 3 or 4 of her concerts. I love that little woman. And I respect her so much. And my respect for her grew.
That does make me think, because remember we said, where's Chingy? And I looked it up, and the only thing on Chingy's personal life is just Chingy's feud with Nelly. Where's Chingy? Like,
right.
Wonder what he's been saying. Chingy's looking good.
Is he? I haven't seen him.
He is. He does look like a motivational dad, though.
Okay.
Like that specific Instagram motivational dad content.
I see. Wisdom Wednesday, but it's not spelled right. What?
What's that? I didn't even read that part. I'm just talking about his outfit.
Okay. Well, on his Instagram, there's a thumbnail that says Wisdom RESNESDY, but in the actual caption, it does say it's supposed to be Wednesday.
Wednesday is hard to spell.
It is, but this is a lot of things not in anyone's order.
Yeah.
I hope he did that on purpose for engagement.
I think so too. It's like, tell me he doesn't look like one of those Instagram motivational dads.
He does.
It's the not powdered skin. It's the snapback. It's the crystal clear teeth. Like I don't know if they're whitened or veneers.
He's looking good.
He's looking very good.
Mm-hmm.
He looks good. Well, that is it. We hope you enjoyed. Always nominate who you think we should talk about, topics, hot takes, any of that for us to tackle.
But please be respectful of the limitations that I already set. Because some people have been disrespecting my boundaries and saying, I know you don't want to talk about this, but if you have to start something that, then that means no.
I know you don't want to talk about this. Thank you. The end.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
Join us tomorrow for See You Next Tuesday. Wednesday, go listen to an old episode. Thursday, listen to Don't Blame Me. Friday, Fisting Friday. And then we'll be back here on Monday for But Am I Wrong? And we will circle back.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Hi, I'm Laura Cathcart-Robbins, and I am the host and creator of the podcast Only One in the Room. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us and lose yourself in someone's incredible Only One story. We talk to real people dealing with issues like infertility, the death of a loved one, human trafficking, and women who, fake it. Oh, and we want to be fair, so we talk to celebrities too. Emmy winners like actor John Cryer, supermodels like Amber Valletta, and rock stars like Ryan Dusick. Everyone is invited to share their Only One story with our listeners. With 21 seasons and counting, we guarantee you that Only One in the Room has a story that you'll connect with. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone. Download Only One in the Room on Apple or Spotify today.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
From the podcast that brought you to each of the last lesbian bars in the country and back in time through the sapphic history that shaped them, comes a brand new season of cruising beyond the bars. This is your host, Sarah Gabrielli, and I've spent the past year interviewing history-making lesbians and queer folks about all kinds of queer spaces, from bookstores to farms to line dancing and much more.
For 11 years, every night women slept illegally on the common.
We would move down to the West Indies to form a lesbian nation.
Meg Kristen coined the phrase women's music, but she would have liked to say it was lesbian music.
And that's kind of the origins of the Comedy Fever Collective.
You can listen to Cruising on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes air every other Tuesday starting February 4th.